Afternoon, friends. Brian here from the Wilson Family Lights, and welcome to the Halloween Horror Nights Dirt. Each week, we're going to discuss different things about Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando, as that's the one that I go to every year. I live in Port Orange, which is about an hour north of Orlando. My wife and I have been going to Halloween Horror Nights since number 13. So as of May 29th, which is today, the dates that they have released that the Halloween Horror Nights is going to be going on is from August 28th, which is a Friday, to November 1st, which is a Sunday. My suggestion for anybody who is either going to be traveling down from up north or the other side of the country to make sure that you check your days on their website. Sometimes things will change. Obviously, when they run and what's going on is always subject to the fine and outstanding weather that we have down here in Florida. Because remember, that is the end of hurricane season. So that has been a problem in the past. They have had to close down dates due to serious inclement weather. So that is something I strongly suggest you keep an eye on. So the big announcement has been who is the master of ceremonies for Halloween Horror Nights 35. And it is going to be Jack the Clown and Dr. Oddfellows. They're going to be sharing duties as your hosts for this year's event. I'm looking forward to both of them as I've enjoyed them in the past years. I really like Jack. They've brought him back a couple of times. And I think actually that is something they may want to consider doing on a regular basis. I think he's extremely good. I think he's funny. I like that he's kind of a little bit maniacal, almost like Captain Spaulding, but a little more theatrical with his jazz hands, shall we say. So, two houses have been announced. It's going to be Jack the Clown and Dr. Oddfellows, Chaos and Control, as well as they've talked about that they're having a Sinners House, which is based on the Sinners movie, which was on, I believe, Prime. And that's about vampires in the 30s in the South, where they have a gin juke that it's based around. If you haven't seen the movie, I highly recommend it. It is good. It's a little bit slow at first, but overall, I think it's a really good movie. They've announced that they're going to have 10 houses and 5 scare zones. I haven't seen anything definitive about the scare zones as of yet, but personally, I would love it if they would have another Killer Clowns from Outer Space, either scare zone or give them their own house. That's the two of those were some of my favorites through the years. Someone asked me the other day what I think the best house I've ever been to, seeing how I've been going to it for 152 years. And I thought about it, and my answer is always the same. A House of a Thousand Corpses that Rob Zombie did is probably the best ever. Alien versus Predator was another one that was really, really good. And they had done one when they were on a riverboat. This was in the back corner underneath part of the Rip Rocket roller coaster. And literally, you were on a huge Mississippi riverboat that they had listing over. And that whole set, the jump scares, everything. I think that's probably the best original themed house they've ever done. But that's just my opinion. And drop a comment. Let me know what you think your favorite house is. Also, what did you think was the best original themed houses? I personally think a lot of the original themed stuff has been better than the big name stuff. What do you think? So I would expect we're probably going to get some carnival-based scare zone. Um, Maybe some sort of 1930s Jinjuk themed scare zone. Um, I would assume all of the major rides will be open, barring construction. The main roller coaster on that side, as everybody knows, has been torn apart. They're putting in a new Fast and the Furious ride, I think it is. So, um, I think they're going to be doing obviously Halloween themed food, Halloween themed hooch, like they've done in the past years, as well as there's going to be lots and lots of merch, as they do every year. I have been told by a few people that the merch stores that are already there have been dropping hints and the occasional shirt or mug based on Dr. Oddfellows and Jack the Clown. My biggest thing is, and I really hope that they do, is some cool socks. Socks is the big merch item that I always go for. I've literally got, I don't know, 20 different pair probably. So if anybody from Universal Studios is listening, we need socks. All right, so as of today, May 29th, there are a limited amount of tickets that have been released. I believe it's going to be the single day type of thing. And as everybody knows, as we roll into June and certainly July, that's when they'll start dropping the major tickets that you can pick up. Um, One of the things you want to take into consideration is last year specifically, the frequent fear plus tickets literally sold out in 10 minutes. My wife was lucky enough, she was on the site locked in at, I think it was like 2 past 12. She was on the phone with her cousin who got on about 6 minutes later, and he was locked out and didn't get tickets. So that's one of the things that you want to take into consideration when you're thinking about when to get your tickets. My suggestion, which is what my wife does, she has credit card in hand, total open balance, we're ready to go. That's another thing that I want to discuss maybe in a future post is the pricing. I mean, I remember when I first went, it was like $50 for the night, and I believe that the Fast Pass was like another $20 add-on. Last year's tickets, which what we ended up getting the Frequent Fear Plus, which allows us to go to every date, was over $2,000 a piece. Yes. Mortgage payment is basically what it costs to go to Halloween Horror Nights now for the entire event. Cost prohibitive? Maybe. It's one of those things that, it's all about what you justify. I certainly know people who would look at me and go, "You spent what?" Meanwhile, they're chain smoking Pall Malls, driving around in a $200,000 Mercedes, bitching about the economy. So it's all in what you justify and what's important to you. But again, it is a pretty serious expense to do this now. But then again, to get season tickets to go see the Mouse is, oh my God, even worse. One of the caveats with Fast Pass that I don't know if everybody knows is you're allowed to go through once per night with your Fast Pass. Last year, I watched a couple. They were clearly from outside of the United States. They were arguing with the staff about wanting to go through one of the houses for a second time using their Fast Pass. And finally, one of the mucky mucks had to come over and explain that no, your Fast Pass allows you one pass through. So that's something to take into consideration when you are purchasing your tickets and certainly the nights that you're here. So Just a little bit of a word to the wise, if you will. So, again, this is Brian from the Wilson Family Lights. Excuse me. We're going to be doing this every week. We're going to drop the Halloween Horror Nights Dirt once a week. I'm thinking it's probably going to be on Sundays. That's what works best into my schedule. I also run another social media platform called Guitars and Cigars, where we discuss, as you can see behind me, I have all kinds of guitar gear and the cigar lifestyle. So, all right, if you like this type of comment, please find us on all our socials. We're on Instagram, we are on Facebook, we are on X, and we are on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is all about doing DIY stuff. I have been doing large-scale Halloween and Christmas decorating for the past 18 years. I started off with 4 or 5 blow molds, a couple of blow-ups, and 6 or 8 strings of lights back in Massachusetts. Last Christmas, I had 60 blow molds, about 30 blow-ups, 20 to 30 homemade props, from little things all the way up to I built a building. And we had 100,000 lights out, which is all synchronized to music and video. So we do DIY instruction videos on how to do all of that. How to fix a broken prop, hack the prop we call it. How to build props out of stuff that no one wants. You look on Facebook, or you look on Craigslist and people are giving stuff away. I teach you how to take that stuff and build it into a killer prop. We're actually about to do the puking skeleton prop that'll be coming out next week. I also go over how to get your music synchronized to the lights with a program called Lightorama. And then I also talk about how to take that music and lights and synchronize it to a video, so you can have it on a big video screen behind all of your different Halloween and Christmas stuff, off of a garage, out of a window, which is what we're going to be doing this year. I have a big bay window here. I'm going to be projecting onto that this year. In the front of part of my house is going to be the main element for my display. So that's something we do on the Wilson Family Lights as well. So if that's something that interests you, this is something that interests you, you think I'm kind of funny looking, you've been talking to my wife if that's the case, by all means check us out on all our socials. If you really like it, please like, comment, and subscribe, as it helps us grow, and we're trying to do something cool here. So, all right, Brian here from the Wilson Family Lights. I appreciate your time. You have a fabulous day.